Welcome back to the Sage Audio channel. Today we'll count down our picks for the top 7 free mastering equalizer plugins. Now, some of these plugins were designed with mastering in mind, and some are regular equalizers but with some functionality that we find particularly useful for mastering. Additionally, we'll listen to some examples of each plugin on a stereo mix, so stick around for the full video. But first, if you're an artist, engineer, or producer, and you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample of it. All you have to do is set up an account, upload the song, and we can do the rest. And number 7 is 7Q by Manda Audio. 7Q by Manda Audio is a simplistic EQ. 7 bands let you easily affect the frequency response of a mix. Now, what's great about this plugin is that even if you're just starting to master music, the settings of this EQ make it simple. The tone is transparent, and it's not going to create any unwanted distortion or harmonics. At 20 Hz and 20 kHz, we have shelf filters, which can be used to add or remove low frequencies and high frequencies respectively. The 5 bands in the middle are your typical digital bands with a subtle Q value of roughly 1. The bands can be amplified or attenuated 10 dB or up to 20 dB when the multiplier is enabled, but it'll be best to keep these changes small. The low and high pass filters offer 3 slopes, 24, 12, and 6 dB per octave. By cutting out some of the sub-frequencies up to 10 Hz with a 24 dB per octave slope, you can carve out some more headroom for your master without creating a perceivable change to the mix or master. Now, on the right side of the plugin is your output, with which you can increase or decrease the output gain. You can also control the input from mono, dual mono, or stereo, and apply your equalization to left, right, or stereo channels. Let's take a listen to the plugin.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you. Yeah, I'm gonna dive into you.
Number 6, Leavened by Analog Obsession. Leavened by Analog Obsession is designed to excite and augment the low frequencies of a mix or master. The controls are incredibly simple, but very powerful and easy to overuse if you're not careful. To the left of the plugin is the frequency selector, which ranges from 60 Hz to 180 Hz in 20 Hz steps. To the right is the boost dial, which increases the harmonics and subharmonics of the selected frequency, in turn making that frequency much more easily perceived. The output is in the middle and will most likely be used to turn the track down after the bass frequencies have been excited. An oversampling option is on the bottom left and the bypass is to the bottom right. Now, when you're using this plugin, I typically set the boost to its lowest possible setting. Now, keep in mind that even when the boost is at 0, Leavened is still augmenting the low frequency range. Let's take a listen.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you. Yeah, I'm gonna dive into you.
Number 5, 2SEQ by Second Sense. This plugin is great for making surgical changes to a recording as the Q values go as low as 0.01. In other words, the bands can become incredibly narrow, meaning if you have any specific frequencies that you need gone, this plugin can take care of it. This plugin has 2 shelf filters, 5 band filters, and high and low pass filters. The high and low pass filters range the entirety of the frequency spectrum, although this won't be too useful for mastering. The low and high pass filters can also have their slopes altered with the order number. Each of the 5 bands can range the full frequency spectrum and have their cues altered from 0.01 to 1. The gain of each band ranges 75 dB. However, subtle changes should be used when you're mastering. With that in mind, it's better to use the dials to change the gain than the points in the main window. This ensures that subtle changes are made. Lastly, this plugin includes a frequency analyzer that shows the before and after of the frequency response. Let's take a listen to it.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna dive into you.
Number 4, Overtone GEQ by Voxengo. The Overtone GEQ is a lot like the 7Q by Manda Audio, but with a lot more flexibility. Additionally, the Overtone introduces subtle harmonic distortion that can sound great on a full mix or master. Like the 7Q, you get 7 bands with which you can alter the gain of your mix. These range 24 dB per band, and the entire channel can range an additional 24 dB. Where this plugin really gets interesting is in the routing. As a default, the plugin breaks the signal into the left and right channels. However, if you click on the down arrow next to the routing tab, you can switch this between multiple settings. Some of the more useful ones are default stereo, 2.1 stereo, 7.1 groups, and my personal favorite, which is mid-side. Mid-side breaks the signal up into mid or center and side channels. This lets you widen or narrow the stereo image of your master. For example, if you set the routing to mid-side and then increase the output of the side image, you're widening the stereo image of your master. Let's take a listen to the plugin.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna dive into you.
Number 3, 2EQ Pro by Soundbites. At first glance, this plugin looks like the other ones that we've covered, but there are a couple of unique features that make this plugin a great one to have for mastering. First though, let's look at some of its more typical functionality. The free version of this plugin lets you create up to 6 bands. Each one can range from 16 Hz to 22 kHz and have its gain altered up to 40 dB. The default display for this plugin only shows a range of 10 dB, which is going to be more than what you need for mastering anyway. Now that we've covered the basics, let's consider what makes this plugin unique. One of the best features of this plugin is that each band can be altered between 27 different filters. This includes mainly low and high pass filter types. However, it also includes different shelf and band types that you can use when you're mastering. The other, perhaps more useful feature for mastering is the parallel option, which changes the bands from series to parallel. This means that you can use one band to enhance or cancel out another. Now, how this affects the sound is a little difficult to explain, but if you give it a listen, you'll notice a difference. Let's take a listen to the plugin.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do?
Number 2, TDR Voss Slick EQ by Tokyo Dawn Labs. TDR Voss Slick EQ is more of a traditional mastering equalizer, whereas some of the other plugins on this list are also suitable for mixing, but have features that make them particularly great for mastering. The Slick EQ is much more of a mastering EQ than anything else. It lets you control 3 bands and a high-pass filter. The low band ranges from 30 to 1 kHz and has a range of 36 dB. It can also be switched between a shelf and peak filter. The mid-band ranges from 100 Hz to 10 kHz and is a bell filter. The high band ranges from 500 Hz to 40 kHz and can be a bell filter or a shelf filter. The high-pass band ranges from 10 Hz to 350 Hz, but will most likely be used at a lower frequency. The EQ saturation function enables a relationship between increases in gain and the Q. Now this more closely mimics analog filters and will result in classic EQ curves. Now, speaking of EQ curves, 4 regions in the top bar change how the filters are shaped. American, British, German, and Soviet options mimic the curves of classic hardware associated with those regions. In the out stage, you can introduce subtle to moderate harmonic distortion to add some character to your master. Linear is the cleanest or most transparent setting, and the further down the list you go, the more aggressive or strange the distortion becomes. You can increase or decrease the gain of the harmonic distortion in dB using the calibrate function. Lastly, an output gain and auto gain function are available. Auto gain will automatically alter the gain to match the input gain, regardless of the changes that you've made to the EQ. Let's take a listen to the plugin.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna dive into you.
At number 1, we have Rare SE by Analog Obsession. The Rare SE equalizer models itself off of the Pultec EQ P1A, but with some interesting and modern changes. Instead of 1 unit, this plugin gives you 2 units to process the left and right channels separately. Additionally, these channels can be altered from left and right stereo to mid and side. Each unit has 3 bands, a low frequency band, a high frequency band, and a high band for attenuation. The low frequency can vary from 30 Hz to 100 Hz and can be both boosted or attenuated. The high frequency ranges from 3 kHz to 16 kHz and can only be boosted. Lastly, the high frequency attenuation ranges from 5 to 20 kHz. The bandwidth for the low and high frequencies can be made either sharp or broad with the center dial. In the middle of the plugin, you can change the units from left and right to mid and side, meaning that you can use this plugin to widen or narrow the stereo image. The 2 bands can also be linked or unlinked. To the right, you can increase or decrease the left or mid band, and the same can be said about the right or side band. This plugin evokes the classic tone of the hardware and introduces subtle harmonic distortion. This creates a warm and full sound that is also surprisingly forward and detailed. Now, if you choose one plugin to download and use from this list, this is the one that I'd recommend. Let's take a listen to the plugin.
And I should let it be, but I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I tried, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you. Dive into you. Dive into you. Dive into you.
So these are our picks for the top 7 free mastering equalizer plugins, but what do you think? Was there a plugin that you love that we didn't mention here? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you're an artist or an engineer, send us one of your mixes at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample. All you have to do is set up this account, upload the song, and we'll do the rest. But thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and share this video with your friends. This way we know if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Also, you can subscribe to the channel. We release new videos every week, and subscribing is the best way to stay up to date. There's a comment section where you can leave your thoughts on this video, or you can leave a suggestion for a future video. And again, if you're an artist or an engineer and you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.